and welcome back to the desk for the second day of Swiss here, as I think we witnessed one of the best games we had from the tournament so far. TES Gen.G. Gen.G solidifying themselves as the favorites of the tournament, but that was a crazy game. What did you think, Judy?
Certainly was, and honestly, you could feel that in the entire arena. I was actually watching it from the back. LNG had still stuck around, and the entire atmosphere in terms of the happiness they sometimes felt into the immediate downfall afterwards. It was very funny to watch, and yeah, what a great game to witness.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about watching Gen.G play against LPL teams is like LPL teams are always willing to fight them, to contest, to see, to like, hey, are you going to make a mistake here? And that makes all these Gen.G games so much more exciting. Even when they have that little lead, it never feels like a sure thing until they actually close out.
Perfection. Peak League of Legends here, which is why we want to keep on having. In the next game, we have Hanwha Life Esports versus G2. I'm coping hard here. I'm coping as the biggest EU fan, but I feel like we have an exciting matchup, especially in the mid lane. This is our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. Caps versus Zeka. What do we think here? There's so much to say.
I mean, two fantastic Yone players from yesterday at the very least, right? These are guys who are kind of, I think, the core of a lot of their team's biggest moments. Caps most certainly, right? Even when G2 has been in a slump, has always been stepping up. And Zeka as well, right? Touted for so long as the, oh, he only plays melee champs, has not only evolved, but has evolved and then is also entering a Worlds tournament meta where he probably still can go back to the thing that he built his legend on back in 2022.
Yeah, but the thing is, a mid lane matchup in 2024 is never just a mid lane matchup. You always have all these other guys who wants to come in and ruin the fun. So I think we need to bring in the junglers and support as well to talk about this, because I actually think that Peanut and Delight has had incredible jungle support synergy domestically. I actually think they're one of the best jungle support duos in the world right now. I will say Peanut had a little bit of a sloppy game one, but I don't think you can kind of base him off that. The entire thing they've shown has been phenomenal. So I think whoever really has that better link up between the jungle support duo is definitely going to give their mid laner an edge, and I'm really looking on Mikyx and Yike to step up, because it's not always there as a perfect duo.
It's certainly not, and obviously we're looking at these Yone highlights. They look fantastic. People will notice if you're in a street viewer. A lot of the supporting characters actually the ones that are setting up some of those plays, and it's a good call out. Zeka, of course, himself talking about how excited he is to play against his team in his interview with Ashley Kang from Horizon. Also saying that watching G2 play at MSI, seeing them bring out all these creative picks, it was the first time he'd had fun watching Pro League of Legends in a long time, which you can understand. This is a job for him, you know, some days. But like, that's a great thing to hear, and it makes me feel like both teams are going to be cooking up something special today.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, we already saw the double samurai combo yesterday. I think the Yone will, of course, be a contested pick, and I don't think we're probably going to see the same team come out from G2. They're very good at being adaptable and versatile, and I'm hoping that they've kind of brought some cheese to this matchup, either by Orianna Nocturne, that you're just easy to execute. You just dive in on whoever you need to.
I want more than this.
I mean, the thing is, sorry, in the beginning, I can't cook like they can, all right? And I'd rather be surprised, but whatever they bring to the champs.
All I'll say is I'm of two minds, because on the one hand, I love it when G2 are cooking. It's when they look their best. But I also feel like if G2 want to evolve, if they want to go and make the tournament run, they need to be good on the standard stuff too. They were reliant on the rec side, the Zach, etc. at MSI, the Poppy. T1 banned those away. They look like a shadow of themselves. I don't want this to be the same tournament. I feel like they have to level up if they want to take down a team like HLE.
And we know that they love a challenge, so let's see what G2 can do here against the winners of LCK Summer. Casters, back to you.
It would be big. It would be big. Thank you, Des.
Yeah.
Lovely shirts, by the way, especially Dracos, who I now wear his wardrobe, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do. And you know what? That means I'm more EU than before. I've adapted, and I've taken Dracos' style in order to be there for G2, or maybe I'm cursing them.
I mean, you're Australian, so he's not stealing stuff more Australian.
Excuse me! Not that Australian. We're not all criminals, Dagda. Gen.G, excuse me, G2, you've thrown me off, and HLE. I was going to say Gen.G Part 2. I used that yesterday because, again, just seeing Peanut, Doran, and Delight on the same roster gives me throwbacks. And it's a classic, but at least here in a new roster, HLE yesterday, they threw us through a bit of a loop, didn't they, Dagda? I mean, yesterday's matchup was crazy, considering that, yes, against PSG, there were some good moments, but it took a while for HLE to kind of warm up and then walk over the game.
Yeah, they just kind of took their time, and then eventually they just were like, I'm going to just pop off here. And as you saw on the desk, Zeka looking absolutely fantastic. Viper having some really flashy plays on the Zaya as well, outplaying along like the Rift Herald fight, these kind of things. So definitely a team to be reckoned with.
Yep.
And one G2 either won are very happy to face now, but they still maybe have a little bit of jet lag.
True.
Or 2, very happy that they can't draw them when it's a potential knockout. So.
You know what's even crazy? The loser of this game also goes into the pool with BLG.
Yeah.
So...
Whoopsie.
Remember, BLG already versed MDK, so that's none of these teams. So that makes Worlds even more interesting. I know Azale tweeted out, he's like, this Worlds is rocking. Now, those weren't his words, but, I've kind of summarized for you all at home because it's only been 2 days. We've had joyous matchups. We've had great games. This one should be good as well if G2 are performing out of their mind. We also have high expectations that HLE could also walk over them because first seed of the LCK, the quality of players here is still incredible.
I do think, though, G2 always find a way to really pop off when it comes to internationals. Like, I think even remember the narrative going into MSI was like, LEC's doomed, they're never going to have any sort of chance, and then suddenly we get there and everyone's like, hang on a second, G2 are a force to be reckoned with here, and really starting to threaten a lot of the top LPL and LCK teams. But we'll have to see if it's going to be a similar story, but it is also a different beast going up against Hanwha. Like, they are the first seed from the LCK. They've been absolutely incredible. The team fighting from guys like Delight, who probably is the best engaged support in the world right now, just makes it next to none. And you've got almost every single person on this team can just pop off at any given moment. There's so much clutch factor on this squad. I think that's what makes them so threatening. They are never done until that Nexus falls. And we'll have to see now as G2 coming in, getting rid of at least the Akali from Zeka, and also Peanuts Vi.
That's a big takeaway, especially when Vi has been popping up more and more, but getting rid of Yike on some of these AP junglers. They've done their homework, and especially since Yike has been looking real good towards the end of season finals I'm talking about with his brand, with things like the Zyra in the mix. They're getting rid of some of those priorities while the Aurora has to be taken away with what we've already seen at Worlds.
Yeah, still 100% ban, or well, pick ban, but looks like we're going to go back to the same as yesterday. G2 going to lock in the Yone.
Take away from Zeka as well.
Exactly, and I think just a very, very strong pick, and the opportunity to always flex that as well. BrokenBlade has played the Yone in the past. We heard him talk about it in the interview. That is always an option for them to move that one around. So we'll have to see exactly what the game plan is going to be on the opposite side. But things like the Ashe still up and available if Viper wants to try and go for it, or even taking a strong jungler for Peanut. The Mikyx up and available. Ivern still available too.
Things like the Jax in the back of my mind as well for Doran, where we've seen some early Jax rotation, especially with things like Sejuani up and available. Good pairing. Dagda, I like Doran on Jax. I think it's his best champion, and he has been insane on it.
Yeah, and I know the question mark is, what does BD have prepared for this? Over the course of the year, BrokenBlade has been working a lot with Alfari to try and improve his lane phase, and I think we got to see him step up when it came towards MSI, really showing that he's capable of matching a lot of these international top laners. But it's still going to be tough when you're going up against Doran on his signature pick. Yike going to go back towards the Lillia, so still sticking to that AP style, and it's the Poppy flex as well, potentially to BrokenBlade in that top side to match the Jax.
It can indeed
or
be
it goes towards Mikyx.
As you said, and I love it again, we've got a lot of context here. Well, I just want to pause on this. Zeka historically, whether it was the EDG days, BLG days, where we saw Zeka in the LPL, where we go back and we see Zeka in LCK, of course. That Silas gives me some memes, but Smolder for now instead. That can also be a flex here, Dagda, but a most common scene in the mid lane. Yeah,
I think it will be the mid lane as well, because it just gives the opportunity to farm up. We saw Chovy having a great time on it yesterday when it got to that late game against Weibo, so I think Hanwha looking to replicate part of that, and especially since we basically got no Smolder in play-ins, I think this is something, a pick at least, that we'll start to see more and more of as we start to teeter in towards the main event. It looks like the LCK team's very fond of it thus far in the tournament.
I don't know why, but I've just got this inkling in the back of my mind that we're going to see something crazy out of G2. Maybe that's just because of yesterday. Maybe it's because of what we saw with the Yasuo in top lane. You know, I think you were saying, and the Des was also setting us up for the fact that this draft might have to be a little bit more different going up against Hanwha Life, and maybe you can't get away with the same things. At least I digress as we start getting rid of bot lane carries that are standardized. It's a disco in here.
Yeah, I think basically what Hanwha are setting up for here is a strong bot lane like in an Ashe or something along these lines for Viper, and unless G2 start to ban away and then you start to go down the list, it could work out relatively well. But maybe you want to go towards like a Zeri or something along these lines as this starts to go, but Ashe I think needs to be banned here, or else I'm not really sure what you can try and play into it. Maybe an MF for Hans Sama is the other option, because you do have the Lillia already there.
How do you think about the Kai'Sa right now, Dagda? Kai'Sa Rell still available for a G2 combination if we want to talk about more dive?
Yeah,
Renata
I
gone.
don't think Hanwha wants to go for the Kai'Sa because it's against Poppy. She can interrupt the killer instinct. So I think you're a little nervous about going for that one. Also, trying to play short range against the Lillia only sets you up for potentially getting caught in that. So I think the Ashe is your best bet here. And then Hans, yeah, I think probably going for the MF as in a response. Even though it did get hit a little bit, I think you still got that combo.
What do you think about Draven? Draven into the Ashe lane with Cleanse. Thoughts? Feelings? Hans Sama is an L classic Draven, one of his best champions historically. But maybe is the game too hard to play versus Jax Sedge? Am I barking up the wrong tree, or do I believe in my Hans Mama?
This would be such a confidence play from Hans Sama to bring the Draven out against the #1 LCK seed, but
sorry.
he backs down.
Hey, but Varus, we got lockdown, we got range in lane.
Yeah, it's also little backline threat, and I think that's really where at least Varus can start to shine. Sure, you've got like Jax who can technically get access to the backline, and you have Mom from Smolder, but in the grand scheme of things, there's not a huge amount of dive on HLE side. So I think this Varus actually will be able to go on hit and get value in these team fights alongside that lockup. So I think G2 kind of reading the Varus scenario well here.
But how do we finish it off? We need a support. We know that the Smolder mid now. For Delight, does he pick up something like the Yone? Rakan still available here, Dagda. You got a lot of options at a melee. That'll sync. I love the call out there. Sync well with Peanut.
Yeah, the Alistar counter to the Rell because you can't really go for the crash down. Makes things a little bit easier. Braum.
Good for
the opposite side. Okay, yeah. The only... It's always like look at like Sejuani, Braum, like incredibly strong.
Yep.
And you've also got the Ashe then for your engage. So this is Hanwha being able to play very heavily through that failure or it slows. So anyone who gets caught like Yike or even Caps if they overextend is going to be a lot of trouble. So this game for G2, they need to be very well coordinated, very patient on their engages. Otherwise they can just get gobbled up by Hanwha with one misstep.
And Zeka as well with the scaling Smolder in the mid lane too. Has a lot of options to carry these fights for Hanwha Life. Against PSG, they pulled them apart despite PSG having a good early game. I think players like Delight were really highlighted, you know, Zeka as well, who had an amazing finals and leading into MSI. We're expecting to have an amazing tournament as well. Doran on one of his best champions as well. Doran setting up with the Jax with Peanut to facilitate. It's exciting to watch HLE go up against Europe's hope. Now, of course, the audience here, including Caps' dad, is G2 favored. They love this team. This team has been together, as they said yesterday, for over 650 days. If they could beat HLE, then it becomes a very big reality that G2 are not just here to show up and then shut up. They're here to show up and then move themselves into the top 8, as a lot of people expect, which would facilitate that conversation of the best Western team, or at least top 2.
Either of these teams, right? 2-0 sets you up going into those best of 3s with several chances to try and get through. Having 3 of those opportunities to set yourself up and moving on towards quarterfinals will be such a nice boon.
Yeah.
But you got to get through the first seed from the LEC and get through the first seed from the LCK.
Oh.
And you can see a lot of green coloured summoner spells.
I think Grasp is balanced. Well, at least people think Grasp is very good. So, yeah, BB in the end takes the Poppy into the top lane. Now, I'm not sure if that's the 3rd time we've seen it. I put it as most flex Dagda.
You're going to lane swap.
Jungle, support, yep. This time into top lane means that this Poppy is going to be isolated, as you said, because it's set up for a lane swap, or at least wards. Viper and Delight are crossing mid. Are they going to commit to it, or are they going to try and look for this 2v2 and try and play this Ashe Braum out?
Yeah, I am curious. So we still have G2 playing down towards the bottom side, so it looks like they are just going to try and match up into the lane. Maybe thinking G2 would be the ones that went for the lane swap, trying to avoid the slows and everything else that comes with this Hanwha light bot lane, but looks like they will actually just match up in the end, as Cap's going to clear out this ward. So still, oh no, actually BB will just be spotted, as they're not quite able to clear out that ward in time. But standard lanes.
Yep. It's nice. Oh, lovely. Just wait and see. Yeah, top laners are going to go to lane. Bot lane. Oh my God. No lane swap, Dagda.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of it in the LEC. I feel like we kind of got gifted a few, because I remember watching like LCS VODs and some of the LCK finals, and I was like, huh, They have significantly more.
And to be fair, like, I mean, I think today I've been so hyped up in the earlier matchups that, like, I don't remember seeing a lane swap there either. You know, it's kind of swung past and a miss. So what a nice day for it. Especially when yesterday it was just all lane swaps, really, apart from a game, I think.
I mean, it's also when you have so many hype matchups, you want to see them just go toe-to-toe.
Yeah.
Where, like, as we said, like, BB versus Doran is a sick one. But even this bottom side of the map as well is already Viper and Delight putting pressure on the hands of Mikyx. But this is where I want to see what this G2 bot lane can do against one of the most dominant bot lanes globally at the moment.
I want to see what BB does in this matchup as well. We talked about the Poppy versus the Jax and kind of the mitigation that steadfast presence can hold for the Doran all-in. But early, the damage, a bit too much for BrokenBlade to deal with. Great counter-strike timing, and BB just picks up the shield, but Doran is going to get the level 3 first.
You're going to be under a lot of threat for G2 here as you got pushing top, bot, and mid. And I think that's why, looking at what Peanut's about to go for, I'm curious if he wants to go for some sort of invade using the pressure he has, especially with Caps being this low and Zeka getting good trades. I think he can contest the red buff here.
Yike's going to clear his camp before he sees Peanut in action, but Peanut has Delight's help, and with the Sedge Braum combination, it's too strong. Yike sees this coming, though, so good awareness as he spots with a swell seed. Mikyx also wants to go over the wall, but they don't have numbers for now.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be happy to step back. Don't want to give Hanwha any sort of early pressure.
Yep.
So nice deal coming through from Peanut, and this is kind of what Peanut is renowned for, this pressure that he continuously puts forward the second he has any sort of lane advantage, and looking mid as well.
All
Caps.
like this. Okay, too close to turret in the end.
Yeah, just be able to dash back, but you have to be so careful when you play against Peanut because these small advantages, he will just run away with the game.
Caps is getting bullied out in this lane already. You can see that Zeka has picked up a couple of grass stacks and is already well and truly stacking on this Smolder, as you kind of expect from a lot of the range matchups. Top side in the meanwhile, Doran got some good trades out, but the wave is even. BrokenBlade just teleported back in, and Doran is going to be able to walk, so summoner advantage here for the top laner of Hanwha Life.
Yeah, I think this will still be fine in the grand scheme of things. The only thing you have to be careful about is the rotations for things like Void Grubs, where with the push, Viper and Delight having bot side, they should be able to rotate up towards top first, and then try and use Doran's TP as that extra threat to secure these early Void Grubs. So I want to see how G2 respond, knowing that they're going to be behind. Is it just going to be a case of, hey, we're just going to look for a bot side play instead?
Boy, Swellseed's good. I just keep watching these mid-trades. Zeka just keeps doing more and more damage. Caps looks for a knock-up, almost finds Zeka, but he flaps away, and Yike can't do too much except help Caps get that push in the end.
Yeah, that was all that he was really there for, was just put a little bit of pressure, ensure the Caps could get that wave crash so he can go for the reset. Otherwise, the wave, it could be frozen in a bit of an awkward spot, but now going to be able to make his way back out onto the map. Should be fine. And I don't think we're going to have too much action, really, in the early stages, because I don't think G2, with the way the lanes are set up at the moment, have the pressure on the map to do anything. And Hanwha are happy to just continue to have their lanes winning.
As you said, mid lane's winning well, and this is our Mercedes-Benz featured matchup, by the way. Caps versus Zeka. Now, Zeka has done some more damage. That is true. Caps, 2 solo kills.
And have you come to terms with Caps being the Western GOAT yet, or are you still on the fence, as Azale was trying to convince you, no, it's fine to say?
No, I was worried yesterday because, you know, into a North American, I'm like, is there still some kind of argument for Buickson? Do people put double lift in that conversation? I'm like, you know, and I sat there and I'm like, Azale, is this okay to say? Because I had a big conversation with all you guys at LEC, who have obviously been here for a while, right? And about what Caps has achieved in his career. Now, again, use the word glazing, my favorite word at the moment. He definitely deserves the credit. However, Dagda, he is the Western GOAT. And we talked about it yesterday. We saw it yesterday. 2 solo kills. The guy's been pummeling out the stats, but now he's in a bit of trouble and he's going to get stunned down. Zeka calls in mum. He flashes away. He gets out of the range. It's a nice shield, but Caps gets away using his flash as HLE make a gank mid happen.
Yeah, it doesn't actually burn the ultimate at the end, so kind of realizing, hey, I can just walk away, but nice play from Delight. Getting that pick on towards mid just opens up so much pressure for Hanwha towards these Void Grubs, and it's impossible for G2 to really commit. Yes, oh, actually, it's BrokenBlade.
All in, okay. Grandmaster
I don't think
he
gets the kill here as Doran.
Well, BrokenBlade is walking up. He maybe thinks he needs his jungler to help out. At least there's a good bop up as he buys time, but Doran now moves back and thinks, well, my jungler's top, and that means I have to play it simple. Walks back to the wave, and that's it.
Yeah, I think Doran was fishing to see what he could get, but in the end doesn't end up overcommitting, knowing that G2 are probably going to cross map for the Dragons. But just nice from Delight to burn a lot of the summoner spells from Caps, because now that pressure on towards Zeka, especially with level 6 being hit for Caps, almost completely alleviated, because if you overextend there, you're in such a terrible spot.
Oh, yeah.
And Peanut will be ticking over to level 6 off these next couple of camps, so he's going to be in a position to constantly play around mid lane and try and fish for those plays on towards caps.
And try and get caps ahead. And yes, Stag, you know, I pulled myself back before. He is the best Western player to ever exist.
The problem is, though, you're going up against like Peanut, an insane jungler. You're going up against Zeka, who's a world champion. Like, it's so difficult to play against these guys.
I just didn't, you know, I didn't get to praise him enough. I felt like I had to pull back then. I was doing the Gazelle move again as G2 moved top.
I think on the opposite side of the Mercedes-Benz featured matchup, like, Zeka has been an absolute hero for HLE.
He has.
Solo killing Chovy in side lanes in finals, stepping up massively with not only just his champion pool, but his ability to play so many different picks in the meta. Like, this guy has been on a mission to show that he deserves to be in conversation for some of the best mid laners in the world right now.
I was saying it yesterday where it feels like the development has been things like, you know, his Corky's gotten better, which before was a bit of a meme. I think for Zeka as well, especially when he was in the LPL, he was known as like a 2 or 3 champion trick, those melee champions that he then absorbed and took over to DRX. But we went into that World Championship, he showed more versatility, he showed he was having a tournament life. And again, he comes into this one looking damn strong, similar to that form.
I think it also just shows like Coma does have a talent for picking talents.
Oh, he
because
does.
when you, like, he picked out Faker, then he kind of comes across the rare item, he's like, no, I want to bring Zeka across, so he becomes this new big mid laner, becomes a world champion, and now...
Ulti, Cap's caught out, he can't get out in time, easy first blood, clean gank from Peanut to open up the game.
Yeah, this is just Hanwha getting to have their pick of the litter in this game. All the pushing lanes, opens up Peanut to play wherever he wants, and Delight is doing a phenomenal job of just putting so much pressure onto Caps, taking off the, you know, the kingpin essentially of G2 and putting him in his place.
With the kill going over to Zeka, he already had a gold lead from the CS lead, and even though he misses that cannon, lost a plate as well in the mid lane. So Zeka in a fine position on this Smolder, 700 gold up, and thanks to Peanut, this game feels like it's more of the same. Hanwha Life get to slow this game down or keep it at this speed and just scale up with this mid lane carry.
And again, like, Hanwha are so proficient on the map as to how they want to try and play it. Objective control is generally incredible for them, so this is going to be an uphill battle for a G2, and it's not like it really gets a ton easier, because every time you start to try and enter onto the map, it's going to be push and bot, rotate for void grubs. How do you try and contest this G2 when you don't really have that pressure? Same when you look towards further map states, when you're behind on tempo because Hanwha continuously have these 3 winning lanes. They need to find some way to break it, and unfortunately Yike on the Lillia just isn't in a position to really play heavily for his lanes right now.
BrokenBlade again, I wait for that Doran push as BrokenBlade was looking for his own plate and top side. Believe he found it. Doing a little bit better in this matchup now with Tunneler in hand. Also a tier stacking up, so mana problems out the window as Fate Sealed used towards mid. Swell Seed on Zeka as well. Caps get some damage down, takes some from the turret, but Yike doesn't pull the trigger. A lot of damage, in fact, as Yike gets the ramped up turret damage. Zeka's safe.
And he doesn't burn anything, crucially, either. So when you look towards an upcoming fight, potential void grubs, nothing there. Peanut
sends the ulti. Yike! The prediction indeed. The arrow almost connecting, but Zeka's here to take the kill. Peanut knew exactly where he was going, and Hanwha Life are ripping this early game in style.
That was sick from Peanut. The predict on the flash and the immediate follow from Zeka. Good stuff he didn't burn the flash, because it came in useful 2 seconds later.
It did a 2-0 Smolder start, 1k the lead, and Yike caught out after trying to find something towards mid. Peanut's now walking down G2, it's all falling apart. They've overcommitted in the bot side, and with concussive blows, they've got nowhere to go. Han Summer first, Viper kiting back, but Mikyx is about to be clapped.
G2 just don't respect where Peanut is on the map. He doesn't reset, he immediately kills the bot lane, and it's Han Sam and Mikyx now who are falling. Yike going to try and pick up these void grubs, which is at least going to answer, I believe, for the 3. Yeah, we'll answer for the 3 with no reset coming through from Hanwha, but the kills galore going to Hanwha off the back of Peanut.
It is a bit of an early game disaster. It's a 2k, more than 2k gold lead. G2 got Dragon, yes. Hanwha Life got 3 grubs in the early part. Yike is there as we look towards top. BrokenBlade flashed on by Doran, and we're close to solo kill territory, but the hammer shock doesn't connect. Doran pops the ulti. BrokenBlade's run out of mana and cooldowns.
2 seconds on that charge, though, could potentially look for it, especially with Yike in the area. G2, they need to try and stop the backs, but they're kind of late on this.
There's a ward down.
Ignite,
Doran, he's trying to come in. Mikyx needs it. He finds it with a shattering strike. Autos him down. Takes turret shots. Excuse me. The swell seed against the turret. But G2 still haven't found the kill. They just need to find the kill. Dagda is pointing to the screen. He's like, hysterics, look at what's happening bottom meanwhile.
Yeah, they're going to look for the counterplay as well.
They finally get it. They finally get it. Kill the man. Just kill him. Okay. They get it finally. They get turret plating. HLE are now hitting the turret. The anxiety of the EU fans going off the chart watching that one.
They really would have liked to give that kill to Yike, though. It is BrokenBlade who secures in the end. Hanwha getting pushed off the wave, though. He needs to try and get back to the turret. Mikyx now here to support him. They should be able to at least force Hanwha back, but that's so much gold going over into the hands of Viper.
Swell seed comes through. Hanwha adjusts to the damage, gets the 2 minions, but the Dragon's going to be started and taken by HLE. The early game's still in a great state, as even though BB was able to get the kill, even though he's able to get a gold lead in topside, I mean, the rest of the map is still burning, don't forget.
Yeah, Viper didn't reset, though, so he's going to push in this wave. I don't think they want to stick around for the tower, but it's forcing Hanwha back into this bottom side, and I wasn't sure at this stage if G2 wanted to try and look for some of these lane swaps, like open Hanwha in mid lane, so then you can unlock Mikyx to try and roam around the map, because he has been a lot of the focal point of the strength of G2 is Mikyx trying to find picks, but with the lanes and the position that they're in, you're just not really able to get Mikyx onto the map, and Hanwha are running away with this game, slowly but surely.
Trinity Force already on Zeka, 132 stacks at 13 minutes into the game. It's looking good, as not even a turret, not even rather a plating can be taken by Caps. He's defended off mid-wave as Doran TPs to bot, and that TP comes in about 40 seconds before Herald, so let's see if G2 can find a trade because of that summoner.
Hanwha have open mid, which unlocks the light. They're going to try and look for the dive on towards BrokenBlade in the top side. Yes, Yike is here, but Mikyx's so far behind the play, and Viper, potential arrow into the heart of G2's top lane.
Well, as you said, Viper no first item yet, but that arrow always calls for a concern. Glad you mentioned it, while Doran, with Demolish, is just going to take his liking in bot. 2 plates while the TP gets channeled. He takes that with ease. Mikyx looks for a Shattering Strike, but no cigar in the end, and HLE walk it back again. They don't overcommit, they don't overstep. This is what this team does best, as they hands different fights, but they don't make macro mistakes.
No, and the fact that they continuously have pressure on mid lane is making things very easy. First item not completed for Viper, went for the boot stop off instead, but you can see how difficult it is to then outrange him thanks to the approach velocity as well in the runes. And now Hanwha,
he stepped up.
Cleanse used.
He does indeed. Mikyx looks for the re-engage, but he misses. Mikyx's now in no man's land. He's dead. Classic Mikyx, I'll say, but Viper with his second kill.
I think you needed to do something as G2. Try and find that play on towards Viper, because otherwise you're just going to chunk out your health bar entirely and not be able to contest Rift Herald. But Mikyx is swinging a miss, and it means that that is the Rift Herald, and now just a kill to boot to Hanwha. This game has been clinical from the LCK first seed so far.
Thank you, Mastercard, for highlighting that. Mid is a story that'll keep on giving for Hanwha Life fans. Watching those stacks on the right side of your screen, 161 at almost 15 minutes into the game. He's hitting this Herald, it's going to keep going up, and Herald's going to be taken down as well.
Delight moves to the bottom side here to cover any sort of counterplay, though, so not really in a position for G2 to look for the cross map afterwards. TP from Caps back up to the top side to try and protect the tower in case Rift Herald is immediately used. Maybe they can bait Zeka in here, but it's going to be hard to beat the 2v2 of Peanuts in the area.
Hoping for that flat, but he will just push the wave and he backs away. I mean, this is, it's competitive, it's insanely not competitive at this moment. Caps giving away more. Mikyx gets a stun down. Okay, Mum as well. The fate sealed good. Zeka flashes away, but he still has that summoner. Herald's now used on mid, and HLE are going to open this up with ease, while Zeka saw 2 top. Again, great map play from HLE.
Yeah, and they're going to look for a little bit more. Peanut had to walk his way around the tower, but should get the charge. Nicely done there. TP by Zeka back into the top side, even push Caps off the turret. And then meanwhile, BrokenBlade pushing the bot side. So you are answering some of these towers, but and a flash from Zeka, maybe something G2 can look for in the later portion when Mikyx can't get caught.
It might be. It depends on how far they take it. Peanut setting up for the dive. Delight is getting the way pushed in alongside Zeka. And this Smolder means business. Caps looking to face check and force Peanut out before the dive can come into fruition. They force him away, but HLE still getting some demolish, getting some turret damage down regardless.
Yeah, Caps should be able to clear out the rest of this wave, but again, it's Viper who's going to be first on that mid wave and opening up for more pressure on towards side lanes. And especially when Doran has already started his crusade onto the spot lane tower, I think that's where Hanwha are going to start to lean Viper down here. Number advantage onto BrokenBlade to crack open another tower for Hanwha.
You know, I'm just looking at the Smolder stacks go up ever so quietly. Like, Zeka, almost at 200 at 17 minutes. That's nasty. If you get Smolder execution before 20 minutes, it feels like a crazy move, right? It feels like a crazy achievement, I should say. He's also just picked up Manamune, which will be a mirror mana very shortly. 2 items Smolder before 20 as well. That's nasty.
And again, the problem is G2 are just behind in so many of these wave states that they really can't match how Hanwha are playing right now. Caps trying to push in on towards his top side, but has no real vision, so this is a bit of a risky play. Should be able to get it though, and back on up. But yeah, you can see G2 just trying to get anything. Dragon and 15, multiple members of G2 on this bottom side, but Doran has TP to join, so in the grand scheme of things, it's still a numbers advantage for Hanwha.
But Doran goes the all-in versus Caps. They're going to use TP and try to get numbers advantage. Caps is already getting bullied out, though, and with Trinity Force, Doran flashes away because he knows he can take the extended fight, but with BrokenBlade, things get difficult. He hops over, he buys time, he teleports away. The arrow saves the play. Mikyx looks for an engage, but he's already out. Doran sneaks with the teleport, and the arrow from Viper, I think, saved his life.
That arrow was sick from Viper. Just clunks onto G2 and stops any sort of follow-up on the play. Hanwha, look, it's not exactly a kill-heavy game, but they are just outclassing G2 so often here.
Bait seal from Caps, only hits the support, that ain't it. Takes a turret shot for his worth as well. BrokenBlade tries to dart around the turret, but concussive blows are there while Zeka's taking bot side turret. Now we get the Lillia lilting lullaby, but great ult from Delight. Look how much time it buys, and Doran's just set back closer towards his base. That's a kill, but now Viper's engaged with no damage in the back either, so while G2 continuously forcing the top side and get the turret, they get a kill, but look at bot, the wave pushing in, they can't continue their onslaught.
Yeah, Hanwha just sent 1 to achieve what G2 need to send 4 players to try and achieve. They do get the kill onto Doran, so at least it is some goal back in their favor. This tower very low in bot now, but this is scrappy from G2. They are trying desperately to get anything they can on the map.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they need to do. It's still 3k gold lead, and despite, you know, Hanwha Life having such a big early lead, it hasn't enveloped the game. It hasn't developed, so there are some props there. But again, you're still looking, let's go back to Smolder Part 2. Execution right about, where is he? Next wave.
But HLE are just playing such a clean and calculated game. They are always on a side lane with Zeka to get the stacks that you've rightly pointed out. They are always positioning Viper on midway first, so Delight gets access to roams, even using Viper to cover for that tier 1 tower take on bot lane.
Yep.
This is a clinic from Hanwha, and it's G2 desperately trying to find something, but it's always the numbers for HLE.
Maybe something here as a potential. Peanut could be caught out, but Caps is now running out of the Fate Unsealed. Good damage. Peanut has to scurry out of there, while now Caps will be able to defend top lane turret right before this Baron spawns.
Yeah, I don't think you can try and turn on to this, though, as G2. They've moved everyone here. No TP on Doran. This would be... I think you just got to try and push it these waves. Maybe look for a play on towards the mid lane turret.
Yep.
But even Viper should be able to clear out a large majority of this wave before it hits the tower. You can see it there.
At least Doran can't get anything more on the bot side. Inhibitor turret's the only thing there, and it seems like, you know, again, just try to defend G2's position. But we've said in this early game, I think watching Hanwha Life yet again, you know, some of the individual members here, like even if they're not operating as a team, their ability to buy space and time and to kind of hands just some of these skirmishes so far has been what we've seen.
Let's just play at this draft so effectively as well. Like Oh, hang on. There we go, Mikyx. Might be another. Are just gonna take a hit from Peanut, but the fact that you like blind the Jax but still get push against BB on the Poppy just sets yourself up so well. Zeka with the counter pick on towards the Smolder means he gets shoved. Ashe pick for Viper. These are all great.
Ulti a little bit early. Fate sealed out. Mum as well used. Peanut tried to get the participation award, but as Rell brings them back in, Mikyx's done a bit of damage. Peanut still not hit away. He has to flash though, but hang on. G2 are throwing everything into the wayside, and it might stick. They get the support. They then get Peanut. They punish It's Hanwha live, trying to dive top, and now Dag to that Baron is another conversation.
Now Doran's got to try and get over here. Viper doesn't have anything except for
low.
flash. G2, have they found their moment?
No way from a pick. Hanwha live. They're the ones who wanted to find the opening in this game towards Baron. It's a good shattering strike. It's a good Baron. It's a good keeper's verdict. And G2 have blown it apart. Viper's about to be in execution range. Snap back. The red buff saves him. But G2 just picked up a Baron from one hell of a snap.
The defense on the top lane, crucial from G2. Hanwha thought they could just bully themselves in. Caps, he has to snap back, he has to snap back, but
he's got Baron
the Q3.
He's another Q. More. You're right, to get away, he gets a knock up. Doran looking for the chase still, but he's out.
Yike to cover. So Doran doesn't want to overextend, but everything used to try and get onto Caps, uses the Fade on Steel to just clear out the wave. The ult hits on towards Mikyx, so it doesn't connect on towards Caps. Peanut's now overextended, and look at Zeka. He can't approach because the tower, there's no wave left. So Viper has to exit through the tower, which leaves Peanut and the Braum completely separated. Delight falls, Peanut goes next, and the Baron for G2. It's a perfect storm that G2 coalesced on towards the heads of Hanwha.
That was a perfect storm indeed. Now, Dagda, I've been singing the praises of Hanwha Life all game. G2 punish. I'm in this headspace where I see gold almost even. I still see Caps down against the Smolder, but I see a 2-item Yone, 2-item Varus as well on hit. I see a Poppy that is getting tankier and tankier here, now going into the chain vest. Dragon is up in 35 seconds, and G2 definitely want to contest to deny this infernal soul potential on soul point that they're going to be aiming for.
Yeah, and the push and wave is going to be crucial here. The second item's already completed, so there's not really much on reset that you're going to be able to pick up here for G2, but you're matching at least the second item is not the 2.5 for Hanwha. And it's about seeing if Caps can get a flank position on towards Zeka, maybe set up for a big flash play for Mikyx. But Hanwha, they're approaching this slow. They just want to focus on this mid wave, even dropping bot wave at the moment to guarantee that mid contest.
Smolder damage hurts. That's the truth from Zeka right now. Doran's in a side wave, another one to hit as he's got the teleport available. This Baroned up G2 is not getting much from the power play. They can't siege, they can't walk up. Mickey's caught trying to find a flank as Viper's arrow is down, yes. But Doran's still pushing in a side wave, and we're only sending Caps now.
Yeah, Caps is the only one with teleport, so he now has to match up. Mikyx has to try and find a position here, but that denies that flank opportunity for Caps. There are wards available if he wants to.
Swell seat's there as well. Viper just clears out the wave, that's it. Doran is denied and Caps doesn't have to use anything. I was going to say, Dagda, you have to commit the ult from Caps to stop the TP. Doran has to commit the E. Very different class of abilities to stop anything from a teleport play, but we don't get to that, do we? Dragon number 2 for G2, and the game goes back.
But look at the Red Bull Baron power play. It has not been as successful as G2 would have liked it to. Less than 800 gold gone into their hands, and a huge amount of that, it went into the hands of Doran because he was able to get control in that top side, start to push things out. And this Smolder is still a mega threat. We saw what Chovy could do with him when he got to late game yesterday, starting to crest over towards nearly 300 stacks. They need to find some way to force this game quickly, but for G2, Hanwha are giving them nothing.
And maybe the only reason that, you know, they can pause against Zeka for now, that they've got opportunities, the fact that he had to go for the QSS before going for the rapid fire cannon. He's got that little, you know, cheap slingshot in his inventory, the item that everyone really hates and thinks it's kind of nothing.
Scout slingshot?
Yeah, that one. But Scout's not in the game. Caps is just going to hit on Peanut for a little bit. And now we ask ourselves the question, Caps, blast cone. Okay, no one's there to punish. Yikes there, just in case.
I don't even know if G2 are getting to ask these questions, because Zeka clearing out wave with Mom every single time they approach. The slower gameplay, like, yes, G2 have the tempo advantage right now, but they're not really putting home under a ton of threat. They're trying to now, but Peanut, he just gets to walk away, and this mid tower gets to stay standing.
Trying to clear some of the vision. It's the 2 tanks doing exactly that.
Caps is here, though. All 5 members of G2 on this mid tower.
They didn't see him coming in, but under turret, they're going to look for the siege. Instead, BrokenBlades want to be turned on. Zeka's damage is immense under the turret. They're sieging down, but G2 have to leave and give up their ground. HLE looking for the engage. Doran comes in, but he misses. Swellsy lilts into a lilting lullaby, but Zeka gets a kill on Mikyx. Their snap engage is gone, and only in the end, it's Yike who saves the play by stopping it in its pace.
It's a snap back to reality for G2. They thought they had the numbers advantage on midway, but Hanwha they're the ones in control of this game, and they find their advantage back, and now it's back to side lanes, back to control, and back to denying G2 access to the map.
Smolder again. Let's talk about it one more time. It's just good. Like, he's almost at 300 CS. You know, we weren't kidding when we said, you know, Zeka had a great championship, but Zeka also is bringing back that pace from 2022.
Full rapid fire now.
It's insane, isn't it? So now he's got range.
So good. And the fact is that, like, I think when he won his World Championship, people kind of slept on him a little bit, how good of a World Championship he had at that time. But he's only gone up from there. And now a force to be reckoned with Hanwha taking on Gen G in their finals, a real contender for a second World Championship for this player and for so many of the players that are on this roster as well. They're showing why they are so dominant and so feared when you go up against them.
They've done so much this year, and for the LCK's #1 seed, they've still done so much in this game. Yes, G2 found a moment to come back in topside and were able to stabilize the game with the Baron, but they got nothing off it, and we keep going back to the point where HLE have control of sides, and now with the arrow up as well, they might have control of a pick. Mikyx dodges away as Caps gets back. Okay. HLE are trying to force out a play as Baron spawns in 5 seconds.
But you can see how valuable this winning lane for Viper is. The fact he continuously gets to press forward with Delight, control this mid wave, and it's denying G2 access to those sides because you can rotate with Peanut, Delight very quickly to cover Caps in a side lane. And without that side lane pressure, well, in a 5v5, oh, sorry, in the 4v4 with Peanut and Co the whole way down, it's very difficult for G2 to contest because you just don't really have a frontliner. Mikyx can try, but he's not really that tanky to deal with all that damage.
Sure, he's gone Trailblazer first, so not like we're getting something similar to a Locket, some of that shielding that obviously Hanwha Life are providing twofold this time around. A lot of delaying tools, by the way, with Zeka's Armor Guard. Like, HLE's fight can go on for a while.
And you've got waves now going to start to be in good positions for them as well. Zeka just pushed out bot, Doran creating a slow push on top, Caps just trying to steal it away.
Wants something, he wants more than the fight. He sees Peanut, now he's in trouble, but Peanut doesn't pull the trigger, Mikyx's nearby. As meanwhile, topside, wait, Doran. It is a Poppy. I did not expect that much damage to come out, but then again, that is Poppy.
Sundered Sky Poppy. It's not your regular tank Poppy.
We do not die in the 1v1.
No, you definitely hyper focused on the 1v1 and can deal some damage, and we'll have to see if that's going to be enough to try and control Doran. He's giving them push in the top side, which is wonderful, but only one ward to speak of as a potential TP behind.
Where is it?
For BrokenBlade. That could potentially set up something, but I think for Hanwha, they're still going to end up with push in mid. They're slow control, push on bot, and there's that TP we just talked about.
Double TP, it's a pinch. Hanwha Life are now escaping it though. It's Peanut in the center fold in the river, but they get the engage. It's BrokenBlade who gets the flash out. Good engage from Mikyx as well. The setup is huge. Caps knocks him down. They get one pick onto the jungle, but look at Viper stepping up to Mikyx. He autos him to the ground. Hans just has to fight it out. It's a trade. It's messy, but I love it. We look at Hanwha Life positioning around Zeka again, who survives. It's 3 versus 3. No decider.
But it's the health bar advantage for Hanwha. They find BB.
They're going once again. That execute is danger zone. BrokenBlade flashes away. Hanwha Life don't know that Caps is starting to drag it all in the meanwhile.
This is so risky. Caps has flash to get out. Doran's about to check the pit. Will spot out that the dragon's going down.
You see, now it's Cat to spare. Caps gets over the wall, but he jumps back. He still wants the leash at Hanwha Life. Unknown to his game, though. Looking for the knock-up. He finds it, but HLE will take that leash, and Dragon given over it is.
It was a nice attempt from Caps. The opportunity to maybe sneak that away if Hanwha just reset, if they try and put pressure on towards mid-wave, if they start to look towards vision on Baron, but unfortunately was not the case, and it's gifted across to Hanwha. And now HLE, the last objective in their sights in this top side, but these fights have been so chaotic. It's been so close, but
it has.
The damage on this Smolder coming out clutch in these engages.
What I've learned from this year's Worlds is that we are in for a treat. Just like MSI, the gameplay is hitting the right spots, Dagda, and Baron has started. You know what that means.
But no TP on Caps.
Arrow, BrokenBlade, it hits Mikyx, frontlining for an engage, Shattering Strike, he gets out, Mum called in a little bit early, Hunt's Summer zoned down, Peanut's ult not hitting, BrokenBlade does, Caps, a 2-man knock-in is good for G2, BrokenBlade breaks it down, it's a big pick, Viper's dead, Delight's dead, and G2 have risen, now drowsy, asleep, bedtime for Peanut, G2 with a team fight over LTK's #1.
Hanwha have controlled this game so well, but G2 will find any door into a win. They are desperately fighting them. They pick off Viper. They get their second Baron of the game. But do you know what Mikyx. It's not over! We have to keep going!
Over yet. The second Baron for G2. How do they keep finding windows into this game? I swear Hanwha Live locked all of them.
But they saw no TP on Caps. They thought they could make the pick before they got in, but BrokenBlade...
Zeka, he's trying to zone him off, and he doesn't die that easy. He knocks him up, he's sacrificing his life just to zone him off. Mikyx tries to threaten and get that flash, but Zeka holds on while mid-turret goes down in the end. This time, Baron has meaning, and this time, Europe is starting to believe.
The push on bot from Doran, though, needs to be met, but watch this fight. They go on towards BrokenBlade, but he's the tankiest member. There's no follow-up as Mikyx ends up buying space, and Caps gets here just in time with that knockback, gets onto Viper. Delight tries to stop it, but somehow, with BrokenBlade in the mix and that Sundered Sky damage from the Poppy, crucial to killing Viper, and the follow-up damage from G2 is there.
The solo laners of G2, just like this year. Oh my god.
That is the face and a half from Ramon.
Dagda, when it was all going awry for G2 in summer, we were talking about BrokenBlade. Throughout the year, we talk about if G2 don't hit their marks, it goes to Caps. That fight had a bit of both. That fight showed the qualities of both. And yes, Hanwha Live found so many good early marks in this game that G2 felt like they should be out with this Smolder that we went on and on and on about. But now with Baron, an almost 2.5k gold lead, they look to siege bot. They're using a bit of the range. And HLE are on the defense for what feels like the first time in this game.
Yeah, Hanwha are going to try and just push back the wave. Caps now shoved in mid, so can always join onto this bottom side and threaten a dive onto the back line. So HLE trying to fight before the wave hits the tower. Doran matching Caps, but I don't think he can match him in the 1v1.
Well, Doran jumps back in. Caps has good damage. Oh, wait, Doran jump back in. He's going to get the counter-strike with the face shield. It's the two-man. Caps jumps in. He's still alive. Going golden is Doran. He has to run out. Caps is a maniac, but I ain't admitting him to ain't no hospital.
Tell me what year is this, Derek? Because this is feeling like 2019 with the way Caps is performing. As now to go for the tower.
Keep his verdict away. EU again getting even closer. Running under this turret is a good mark as HLE look to defend again, but BrokenBlade has gone too far. He has to get out. Cooking a bit too much in the kitchen. G2 need to run.
The reset coming through from Doran, but the TP sets up for the counter punch on towards G2, and now with a minute until that Baron, until that next dragon, they need to find something. G2, not finished yet though, they may need to be.
He's taking the shorter path right in front of Doran. He gets out, a good crash down. Caps tries to clear the wave as he runs up. Arrow as well, flashed away, it hits Yike in the end. Peanut looking to follow up, but again, there's no ulti on Peanut. Yike gets the walk away.
That's two teleports now down though. Doran and Zeka used it both, thinking if they could catch G2, that could finish off this game. So G2 now have that teleport advantage on BrokenBlade, but 20 seconds until he's up and available. He'll only just be arriving onto the map. As this dragon spawns, G2, they need to find some way to contest. This is Soul, Infernal Soul for Hanwha with a top laner who's not there.
BrokenBlade has the teleport that you mentioned though, so that advantage in 5 seconds can be used to get him into the fight quicker. Combat gold you see right now, G2 actually have an advantage. Teleport going to be...
It's going to be spotted. Viper sees him.
And it's so deep. Viper just going to look at BrokenBlade, but the rest of HLE, they walk towards him. He now repositions with the blast cone. BB felt it, but HLE are aware to it.
Great idea from BrokenBlade, but Hanwha sniff it out. Now G2, they get position on the dragon. Thanks to that, can they burst it? Dragon's gone.
It's denied. Mum as well does nothing. G2 looking for the fight. The swell seed onto no one. A bit of goo sent out by Zeka and HLE disregard.
Hanwha are trying to push them completely out of this bot side and threaten this inhibitor turret on the mid lane. Push is there. They've also got that wave prepped in top and can go for the tier 2. So G2 on reset, trying to get into position. It looks like it's going to try and trade with Caps towards this bottom side, although he resets as well. Maybe afraid Hanwha might just pull the trigger and fully look for the play. Nope, he's still going. They're just going to look and trade.
Yeah, their numbers are shown up. That means turret for certain. As you said, Caps holds his mark, finally gets inner, it will be a trade.
It'll also give, I believe, Infinity Edge to Caps off this play, right as they look towards the Baron in minute 25. So trade, good, and also getting these completed items for Caps is really important. So you can see the hesitation on what do we actually do, but I think this is the correct call from G2. But when you look at Hanwha, look at the items that are there for Zeka, like nearly 500 stacks now. He is going to be more than, well, should be finishing off his full build very, very soon. And there's the IE coming through for Caps. So This is going to be an all-out brawl between these two mid laners. This is the high focus on which mid laner can step up in this next fight and potentially carry us.
The edge. It's a really good call out, Dagda. I've paid attention. I see the 4 items. Arrow, 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 arrow onto Hans. He cleanses. But Viper, the cooldown ain't much at this point in the game on the 4 item Ashe.
That did look a little bit funky, but Hans needed to tank that. Mikyx could have gone down to follow up from Peanut ult into him just being dead. Would not have been the best of ends for G2, so Hans using that cleanse was necessary there.
But now no cleanse for the fight. Baron, 30 seconds. We've got ourselves a doozy. The player matchup in Caps versus Zeka. Reminder, Mercedes, you're getting this one a second time for good reason. It has just been a barrel of efforts from these two.
This on the bottom side though, G2, they're kind of faking, showing on mid and looking for a potential pick on the Doran. Viper has the ultimate though, so if Hanwha sniff this out, that could be the engage. Mikyx now looking to rejoin. I think he just avoided the vision and being seen.
So also looking to get the shield. Delight is dodging well. That means again that passive shield from his support item, Celestial Blessing, won't be popped away. G2 now walk towards mid, but they're on a ward. Dagda, I'm worried here as BrokenBlade walks in first, but Hanwha Life are not showing.
Still, Baron is up. That's what Hanwha are trying to play for. Looking for the potential engage. There's the poke from Zeka. Going to do work, and the burn is going to keep going.
The splash onto Han Summer hurts like hell. There's a health bar advantage as Caps comes into the back line, but popped away from Doran from the counter-strike. Arrow flying out as well. Mikyx blocks it, but the engage is going to get popped. Hanwha Life strike first, and they strike true.
And now they can just shift over towards the Baron as well. They play it very slow and get the pick that they needed, but Caps has already prepped that wave on bot side. G2, could it be a potential base turn in Doran? Doesn't have the support. G2 just going to shove in mid instead. They're trying to contest on towards that Baron too.
He's worried about Caps, but Caps is just going to get some time with the tower. Baron is going to go down. Yike, Yike,
Yike.
Yike, Yike! Still there for Europe's hopes. He's done it!
And that's the inhibitor down as well. When G2 needed him, Yike gets into the pit and outsmites Peanut for a third Baron for G2.
He wasn't there back in their miracle in 2019, but I bloody hope he's there throughout the course of the rest of this year. That saves the game. And G2 now with their third Baron in this epic best of one.
30 seconds until Yike is up. The waves aren't in a position for Hanwha to really contest. So they can hold. They can wait towards this next dragon. But we'll see it here. The swirl seed over the wall. And the smite. Perfect at 1600 health somehow. Yike comes out with that. That call is absolutely insane. What is this game, man?
This is crazy. We thought the first two were good. Well, buckle up. The game ain't over yet. G2 have slowed it down and they've delayed the game. Soul is up now for both teams. 35 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Seatbelts on.
All flashes available for Hanwha, though. Zonya's for Doran as well is going to be so crucial for him, getting access onto that back line. Yike, the only person in G2 that doesn't have that available. So that's probably the focus for Hanwha on this, especially for Peanut. But it looks like G2 going for the classic again. Send Caps to the side lane. Mikyx is shadowing. So maybe Souls try and get the base, but this is such a massive gamble from G2.
This is what put pressure on Pain yesterday as well. Obviously a different game state, but Caps was playing so well in the side lanes that again, Pain had to think about their options. What do we do? Doran's committed towards the top while HLE match out bot. Soul looks like it's just going to be forgotten about. G2 with a low contest.
Ashe arrow going towards top. They're looking for the play.
The face shield, it misses. The arrow misses. Doran's going to die. He goes golden, which is buying time, but Mikyx tanking up. He's fine. Teleport in, jump away. Doran's still surviving another day as Zeka rolls on in. Maybe for G2, it's not a good play anymore. Mum forces the fight, but Caps is dead. G2 tried to cook to end the game, but they fail.
BrokenBlade couldn't join in. Zeka was too quick, and that's now Soul with BrokenBlade trying to escape with Yike and Hans, but Peanut still trying to chase them down. No ult, no flash. But look at Viper's arrow. It's up very shortly as Hanwha are forcing their way down mid. Doran can TP in.
Zeka runs down with the rest of his team. They're going to get so much from this play. The Baron not going to do too much. Yike gets an enhanced recall, but 3 versus 4 in mid for now. Doran is just hanging around, respecting that bot wave, but inhibitor through mid going to die. Dagda, Mickey's up in 5.
It's still going to be a 4v4. It looks like Hanwha don't want to try and overforce on the play. G2 going to try and push this one out. But now that soul for Hanwha, these fights were already tough, which is why G2 were trying to avoid them at all costs, but they don't quite get the kill on towards Doran. That Zhonya's that we highlighted coming in clutch for the Hanwha Esports top laner to keep him alive long enough for Zeka to join.
Zeka has sold his boots. He has just bought himself Cosmic Insight.
Drive.
Cosmic Drive. Thank you, Dagda. It's a Cosmic Mine regardless with a helmet on. And that means 6 items Smolder with 500 CS at 41 minutes in the game. Baron up in 2 minutes 20. This one ain't done, but Hanwha Life with the permanent soul is definitely an advantage with a Smolder that is too big to control.
He's going to be so strong. It feels so hard for G2 to try and step up. I think you have to try and look for some sort of pick, because otherwise you can kind of see it here. Hanwha, they're just going to group up. They say, forget about side lanes. The only thing we need to do is stop the supers from actually getting to the Nexus, because then you can't have Caps TP in and try and finish the game. But as long as we try and set up for a front to back, allow Zeka to play out the game, he is so strong and he will just carry the fights.
If he gets access to Hanwha or Caps, he will 3-shot at this point in the game as well. A harder fight for G2, who, to their credit, have kept themselves in this game play through play. I mean, Hanwha Life were the favourites coming in. Even though G2 are the first seed, even though there's high expectations about what this team can do, let's not forget Hanwha Life in the historic matchups that we've had since Worlds first began. Korea has been a favourite since the SKT dynasty.
Hanwha upsetting the apple cart by beating Gen G. Only Ox, shout out to the man himself, predicting that they were going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And now...
How did he know?
G2 in this insane best of one.
What did he predict for this?
I don't know, but pushing back Hanwha. But Hanwha now, they are in the lead. Like, it's only a 2k gold lead, but with Infernal Soul and Jax, it's very difficult to Caps.
He's caught out. Fate Seal Buffett, he gets range.
Another one though!
Dodged! That was a game-breaking arrow in a perma 5v4 with these death timers.
Still, you can see though, Hanwha, they're kind of waiting to press up. They know that Doran doesn't actually beat Caps in the 1v1 right now, as we've seen kind of executed a couple of times, so they're trying to figure out how they can push Caps back. Mikyx and Caps have continuously been trying to push on the bottom side, but contest for red buff.
Yeah,
no Viper, no Hansama.
Mum. Called. Gone. Caps gets low, he has to back away. Now Dagda, his ulti on a low cooldown at this time of the game, but 15 seconds till Baron. I feel like, again, G2 are going to be second fiddles. Maybe they just don't even get it.
The push on top side is looking good. Mikyx is sneaking vision. He needs the reset, though. We'll just hop over the wall, trying to look for the reset now, I believe. But HLE, I think they spotted him. They're on the look for him. He will get spotted as he moves in towards that, if he moves in towards that tri-brush.
Being so patient. Doran's coming up behind him as well. This is the fight that defines this game. Who moves to 2-0?
Mikyx just waiting in the... He's just hopped back over the wall. He has not been spotted.
Oh, Yike walks in, has to flash away. Arrow misses, though. Arrow's down for a little bit, but Yike now out of the play.
Mikyx just spotted, though. Hanwha going to try and come back onto him. He will be spotted now, realizes, but as he's trying to run away, Hanwha, they just turn over towards the Baron. Caps back on towards the bot side. Has the TP. There is one ward for him, but it's, I think it's gone.
G2 for the first time in this game going to lose the Baron. TP, wait, they're going to commit for the play. Caps is looking for the end. Hanwha need to back away, but they've got the Baron enhanced recalls, and G2 can't converge quick enough, but the bases are still stopped. Caps is going to get the inhibitor. Hanwha Life don't feel safe to back just yet. Doran's going to TP to the Nexus turret. That will save the base.
But can they TP Caps in? They want to try and take the 5v5.
It's one man onto Peen, and Hansama trying to move into position. Bopped away, numbers advantage, change of corruption. Mikyx is there as Caps is taking the 1v1, but Doran is killing him dead. Hanwha Life are winning the fight on the top and on the bottom. This Jack's unkillable, and Caps only just surviving, while G2's plan has gone kaput.
Caps is trying to run away. The TP now. Pinos has the flash if he can just get the bop.
Run,
but Caps
rabbit,
needs a flash. It flashes! But I don't think it's enough. Hanwha are still chasing him down. The ult to get away. But
Zeka gets him. Hanwha Life return to the source of power, and Zeka cleaning up that kill. Dagda, I think finally now we have a decider.
Caps tried every trick in the book, but with Yike, the last man standing against the LCK first seed, it's just a wave that is going to wash over the base of G2.
And our longest game now at Worlds for 2024 is Hanwha Life versus G2 as they move to 2-0. And that sets a beautiful tone for this World Championship, doesn't it?
What a game.
Holy moly. Take it away.
Just
explain that.
To quote someone who was backstage with us a couple seconds ago, I came into today thinking that they were going to lose, and then I thought they were going to win.
I feel like today was entirely about building false hope. No, G2 had a couple great moments that game. There were some good moments. I think HLE on a couple occasions had to be reminded that G2 were still a threat. They overstepped on that topside dive. They overstepped in 1 or 2 fights, but overall, LCK teams continue to prove that if you give a mid laner like Chovy, like Zeka, this Smolder, and you go late, they are more than skilled enough not to put themselves in harm's way, never to put themselves at risk, and be that massive carry threat that they're expected to be.
It's just day 2, and now I'm afraid of 2 things. Smolder for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But also a creative and talented player on Yone. Yone gave them some chances.
Yeah, I agree. Look, like the level 13 Yone, the side lane caps, they did everything they could to shut it down. Eventually, through a couple of those plays, they were able to get caps on a side lane. It looked so good, but it was so
the
hard.
BrokenBlade Poppy ultimates, the Baron steal.
There were some good moments, but it was not enough. I'm questioning G2's approach here against HLE, knowing what HLE can do, how much they can come together, how good they are to make things happen in the early game, and when they have a lead, they're not going to let it go. And G2 had to run behind. They could catch them, but not quite enough. So I'm just questioning the approach in the early game from G2.
I think there were a couple sloppy moments. You can see that Caps was kind of the center of attention early on, and that put them in a bit of a difficult spot. Now, naturally, you expect BrokenBlade and Hans to step up a little bit early on, and I think they did in terms of gold income, but then when G2 also made the mistake in bot lane and lost that 2v2, it felt like they lost one of the last areas of the map that they could actually play around. And by all means, that probably should have been the end of the game, and it's only when HLE overstayed on that dive topside that G2 actually were given a second chance to really play this game out.
It's been an amazing journey for HLE, honestly, from putting all these players together and what they've been able to accomplish together, that we have Shox on stage right now for the post-game interview. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Laure. I've got Peanut here with me after an incredible back and forth game. And Peanut, it was chaos. It looked like there was so much to take care of. Can you tell me about the final moments of that game? Let's say the last 10 minutes and what the keys were to finally taking down G2.
정말 손에 땀을 쥐게 하는 경기였는데요. 이번 경기의 마지막 10분만 돌이켜 본다면 어느 부분을 가장 집중하면서 경기 마무리 지을 수 있었나요?
결국 상대가 한타보다는 요네로 사이드 게임을 사이드 게임을 하다 보니까 저희가 사이드를 어떻게 대처할지가 제일 이 마지막 10분에서 제일 중요했던 것 같아요.
I kind of tell that I guess they were focusing on the side lane play instead of team fights, so we kept that in mind in the last 10 minutes of the game.
Would you like to talk about the Baron that got stolen away by Yike? Would you like to say anything about it?
사실은 또 바론 한번 스틸 당하셨잖아요. 그 당시엔 좀 어떠셨는지 알려주실 수 있을까요?
그때 릴리아가 바텀이라고 그런 콜이 좀 주고받아서 릴리아가 없는 줄 알긴 했었어요. 그래서 좀 스틸각이 잘 나왔던 것 같아요. 네.
So actually, I got a false information. We had in our communication, we were talking Lillia is bot. So she had so much space to come in and steal away the Baron. It's a bummer.
I see, that is a bummer indeed. Zeka was saying yesterday that he feels that you are really a lucky charm for the team and for him. Is that how you feel like as well? And how do you in-game when it becomes so exciting and so close? How do you make sure that everybody keeps their focus?
제카 선수가 또 어제 피너 선수는 정말 LCK 그리고 우리의 좀 행운의 좀 토템이다라고 했는데 또 제카 선수와는 어떠신지 그리고 오늘 경기 하시면서 좀 다들 너무 흥분하지 않게 좀 어떻게 잘 다잡으면서 경기 치르셨나요?
저희가 초중반에 확실히 유리하긴 해서 조금 흥분한 부분이 있긴 한데 충분히 경기 중에 나올 수 있는 부분이고 다음부터 어떻게 나가는지가 제일 중요한 거니까 그런 위주로 많이 나눴고요. 제카 선수랑은 아무래도 호흡도 잘 맞고 플레이적으로도 서로 생각하는 바도 비슷하다고 생각해서 우승까지도 했던 게 아닌가 싶어요.
First off, I think we did get overexcited because we were having a big lead early in the mid game. So I think it can happen in a game. What matters more is how we deal with it. So I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again in the next matches. Also, speaking of Zeka, I think, our play style is very similar. Also, we have a great teamwork. So I think he's a great player. Maybe that's why he won the Worlds.
Maybe it is indeed, and maybe he can do it again. For you at the World Championship, Peanut, as being the first seed from the LCK, there is a lot of pressure. I can assume also because of how last year World Championship ended for you, there is even more pressure. And you said on the CBLOL broadcast that this might be your last World Championship that you do play. What would you like to prove, and what would you like to walk away with this World Championship?
올해는 또 LCK 1시드로서 월즈에 참가하고 있고 덧붙여서 이제 작년 월즈에 대한 아쉬움도 조금 있을 것 같고 또 어제 이제 11홀에서 진행한 인터뷰에서 이번 월즈를 정말 마지막이라고 생각하면서 임하고 있다라고 하셨는데 그런 만큼 어떤 점에 잘 집중해서 이번에 우승까지 한번 노려보고 계실까요?
그전 제가 월즈를 왔을 때는 마지막이라는 생각까지는 하지 않고 그냥 월즈를 우승하고 싶다, 임하고 싶다 이렇게 그런 게 없었는데 마지막이 아니니까. 근데 이번에는 실제로 내년에 월즈를 제가 못 올 수도 있는 거잖아요. 그래서 저는 이번이 진짜 어떻게 보면 마지막일 수도 있다라는 생각에 그냥 너무 간절한 것 같아요. 네.
Never in my life before I've ever thought, whenever I participated in Worlds, I've never thought it was going to be my last, but this time for sure, because I don't know how things will end up next year, so I might not be able to participate in Worlds next year with the given situation. So I'm very, very desperate and eager to win it all.
Fantastic. We would hate to see you go, and we hope the best for you this World Championship. 감사합니다, Peanut and Ji-sun. Thank you very much. HLE moves on to 2-0.
Look on me. Yeah. I think it's winning.
Oh, I'm dead. See ya.
A flash.
Look my TV, I'm in river.
I'm coming on the side, I'm coming on the side.
Kill Seju. Kill Seju.
Kill Seju.
Can we Nash? Let me go Nash. Ashe no flash.
Okay,
Ashe no flash.
Smolder's coming.
Ashe dead.
Go, right side. Yeah,
Run.
He's a flashes! But I don't think it's enough. Hanwha still chasing him down. Oh, to get away! Zeka gets him! It's just a wave that is going to wash over the base of G2.
Red Bull gives you wings.
And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good.